Got the back all cleaned out. Was a bunch of mud back here, as you saw before. Pretty solid bed. Don't see any real rust holes. A little bit of surface rust, but nothing. A little bit of coating won't help. Pretty solid bed overall. Looking forward to it. This section up here, you can see something took a pretty good little whammy into it, separating down here at the floor. Look in the back there, the usual bumped out, like every other Chevy, really every other pickup truck, but overall not a bad bed floor. I didn't really do it before walk around, but we got the truck about as cleaned up as we're gonna get it. I think the next step from here, it's tomorrow, maybe, depending on the weather. Might see about getting the 350 transmission, 350 engine bolted together, put up. See about maybe getting them dropped in. Decent amount of progress today. Got the truck home, got it washed, kind of cleaned out, getting an idea of what all we're gonna need, what all we've got. Unfortunately, no golden finds other than these sweet Chevy floor mats. Definitely gonna put those in the Monte Carlo. Got all the moss off the side of the truck. I should have got it before. There's quite a bit of moss on this side, but you'll see that in the cleaning part of it. Quick little walk around on the interior. Decent panels. Dash is bolted down, pretty tore up like most C10s. This one actually has a headliner. Out of all of them that I've owned, that's the first time I've had a headliner, as well as carpet. And even more crazy than that, the floorboards aren't completely rusted out underneath them. Alternator, may end up using that if while running this 350 in my Monte Carlo, I noticed had some issues, like the flex plate was bent, the starter kept getting hung up on certain parts of the rotation. While doing that, noticed I had a rubber freeze plug in there. Went ahead and got that pulled out, thrown down. I've got a set of freeze plugs over. Gonna go ahead and get those put in, and we'll get this new flex plate thrown together, mount up the transmission, see about getting into the truck. Alright, got our new flex plate on there. Got our freeze plug in, kind of a little extra sealing around the sides there to make sure it's not leaking. Went ahead and got that 350 transmission bolted up to the engine. I actually don't really know anything about this transmission. I don't know what it came out of. I don't know if it was running when it came out. I do know the fluid is incredibly clean. It looks like brand new fluid. I didn't drop the pan. I don't want to deal with putting on a new filter and new gasket, all that. We'll put it in the truck. We'll see how it runs. If it does good, seems like it needs it, we'll get in there. Went ahead, got the starter put on. Got our flywheel and our torque converter all bolted up, matched together. Next step is just to get this thing in the truck. I'm having the classic fun of getting my motor mounts to line up there. A little bit off, but haven't spent too much time, maybe 5-10 minutes on the whole install here. But we're getting there. We'll get it in. Not exactly how I want to get that engine set up, but that'll work for right now. It's really humid today. I'm dripping sweat. My shirt is wet. So we're going to do a little bit before I get that cross member in underneath that transmission, get my ratchet straps back, get it a little more secure, see what we can maybe do about some bolts to secure that. I don't know that I have any. I'll see what I've got. If I don't, go get some from the store, maybe get it done tomorrow, maybe get it done tonight. But in the meantime, we're going to see what we can at least get done. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and see about getting this transmission cross member thrown in. Not too sure how this is going to go, but we'll get into it and go from there, I guess. Of course, I knew my jack was going to be in the way. Let me see. I doubt I can know that it's not happening. Well, let me go grab a jack real quick and I'll be right back. Alright, well, let's go ahead and get this jack stand out of the way here. Hopefully it all goes smoothly, which I don't really know why it wouldn't, but you never know. In today's economy. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, I kind of readjust my camera a little bit and get this up here the best I can, maybe. Kind of thinking I don't know. We'll see. We're just going to go at it. this is definitely not. Well, let me see about this. Alright, now that I'm sweating even harder than I was to begin with, which is already decently hard, I finally got at least part of that out of the way. Got this cross member off of Amazon, and to be honest with you, it's quite a few years since I've really been under a C10 this deep. You know, have the engine trans out, so I don't exactly remember how this cross member is supposed to go in, where all it's supposed to line up. It does look like for this particular one that I've got off of Amazon, my exhaust is going to be in the way, so I may end up having to do something about that. But in the meantime, I think I'm just going to kind of keep going and see what I can get lined up and figure out what needs to get out of here and what's in the right spot, what's in the wrong spot. So let's keep going. Alright, so I'm not liking how this is fitting up. So I think what I'm going to do is probably just go ahead, return this one, and maybe order a different option, see what else there is. I know there's a couple different other ones. There's a tubular design. I think I'm going to probably try that one out. This one seems pretty decent. I mean, I don't know if I'm just an idiot doing it wrong. I don't know if maybe it's just for a different... I don't know. You know, like I said, I typically just go with the factory options. This is one of the first times I've had to go and find a cross member. Usually cars I've got already have a cross member in it. So seems like this is just going to be one of those trial and error ordeals, and we'll move forward from here. I think for right now, what I'm going to do is I'll probably pull this cross member out. And I do have a drive shaft in my garage. I don't think it's going to be long enough, but I'm going to go ahead and kind of line that up. At least, if anything, get an idea for the distance that we need. If I need to go find a little longer one. I don't want to do anything with the drive shaft shop. I've never really had to use one before. I don't know any good reputable ones. I don't really know any to stay away from. I'd rather just find one that's going to fit. If I don't have one that'll fit, then I'll just, I don't know, probably go, excuse me, a little worn out today. But if I don't have one that'll fit, I'll probably just go LKQ, junkyard, something like that, go find one, pull one out of another truck or something. But in the meantime, I guess I'll just kind of keep trying to slowly move forward. I might end up hooking up the speedometer cable, maybe, I don't know, probably not, but I might try to do something while I'm under here. But I know I am at least going to go ahead and measure up that drive shaft, see how far away from fitting we are on that, and maybe get an idea of the length that we need. But let's get that sorted out. I went ahead and grabbed that other drive shaft I've got sitting in there. It's going to be way too short, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the measuring tape and see exactly what kind of length we're working with here. Let's go ahead and get that figured out. Gonna do it pretty simply. I'm just gonna grab my measuring tape and measure from that end yoke over there up to about this point or so on my tail shaft. Gonna go for, try to get about 3 inches or so engagement. So let's see what we need here. Alright, real quick here, I've got that basically just kind of pressed up against where that U-joint's going to go. And then I've got it pulled across here. Oh, we're going to just drop that there. But I've got about 76 on there. Already got it kind of marked. So I think the next step for this is going to be get that return started on that first cross member, order that replacement one, the tubular design. I think that looks like it might fit a little bit better. We'll try to get that in here in a couple days. See about maybe getting some time to go to the LKQ and maybe crawl under some vehicles there, see if we can find a drive shaft. The first thing is going to be finding the right length, and then the second problem is 9 out of 10 drive shafts at the LKQ are bent from them lifting them with the skid steer, fork loader, whatever. Somebody obviously just doesn't care, doesn't know, doesn't think about it. Likely they just don't care. They're just trying to move it from one spot to another. But almost every vehicle I've ever called under for a drive shaft, it's been bent. So we'll try our luck there. If I can't find anything, then I might end up going online, seeing if there's any groups or on the Facebook Marketplace, see if anyone's parting something out. But I'll try to, maybe the next week or so, come across the drive shaft. And I don't know if I'm gonna do this one long video of the whole progress and just doing it all in one, or if I'm gonna split it up, maybe kind of upload here, getting the engine in, getting it going, and then finishing up in a part 2. I do know there's some stuff like these fuel lines here. Got quite a bit of age on them. They're a little stiff, a little brittle. So I might go in, do kind of some little stuff like that. I'm gonna try to see if I have a set of manifolds that'll fit with this exhaust. I'd like to leave it just because it is complete. It's all there. It's all together. I don't have to mess with it. I don't have to touch it. If not, I do have a couple other exhaust options. I've got a couple sets of ram horn manifolds I would really like to use, just for the sake of getting them into something, you know, a little bit of hot rodding. But like I said, I'm gonna try to see if I have a set of manifolds that'll fit the way this exhaust is already routed. If I do end up using the ram horn manifolds, I do have exhaust, at least partially for it, enough to run it back, you know, a little ways behind the cab. I've got some new exhaust hangers. I do have a couple mufflers, so I can cobble something together if need be. But gonna try to use what's here with minimal work. Get this thing going again, maybe do some burnouts or something, have fun in it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and struggle to pull the sit off by myself, so let's go ahead and do that. Alright, well that didn't end up being a struggle really at all. It's pretty easy. I think today the main plan is to get that transmission cross member in. We'll go ahead, get this engine lined up the rest of the way, cleaned up. Got to get that engine mount lined up. Get all the accessories kind of put together. May see about getting a radiator put in it. But in the meantime, let's get started with that transmission cross member, I think. That's really where I want to start today. I am going to have to drill some new holes in the frame for that new cross member. Tried looking for the other one, and with the cost difference, I figured I'd rather just go ahead and drill the holes in this one, considering I'm likely going to have to do that with the others anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and get under there, get this put in there, drill those new holes, mount everything up, and get that engine lined up the rest of the way. Alright, we are under the C10 here. I'm gonna see about getting this cross member thrown in. Probably gonna be a lot of struggling. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. This isn't really the way I'd like to pick up on this transmission, but I don't have a lot of options right now, especially to be able to fit this cross member in. Now here's the hard part, getting everything lined up. She's coming down on us. So the annoying part is you have this shield, and realistically I could take it off. I don't really want to. So I'm just gonna fight it. Oh, all right, we're nearly there. So when you're doing stuff like this, you really want to make sure you put your fingers right in between where you're going to get them wedged and stuck and have no one to help you and wiggle around in pain and stressing of how you're going to get free. But don't do that. Don't put your fingers in between stuff. Think about things. Now, I'm not too sure what we're getting stuck on here, but we are wedging pretty good. That little. I think we're still just stuck on that shield here. And the exhaust. go. In the words of Fred Durst, sometimes you just gotta have faith. So now that my eyes are full of rust and dirt and I'm blind and I can't see anything, we got to get this cross member lined up with where our mount needs to go. Needs to go back just a little bit. It's going to be kind of the annoying back and forth. Shouldn't take too long, maybe a couple back and forths. I'm being a little dramatic here, but we're going to get this lined up, get it drilled out, and we'll go from there. Hopefully it's fairly simple. Alright, so that wasn't too bad. Went a lot easier than I was expecting. Like now I need to go scrounge for some hardware, get this mount bolted to the transmission, at least loosely. That way I can kind of get it set down and really figure out where I need to go with this cross member. I'm gonna go scrounge some bolts and then we'll be back. Alright, so we are back under the truck. It is actually the next day. Yesterday I ended up going to the park with my wife and my son, playing, having a little bit of fun, some family time. Came back, went and did some grocery shopping, normal adult things. So today we're gonna finish getting this cross member. But they're all drilled out, bolted in. I'm also going to drop this exhaust. It is in the way of the cross member. I've got a couple options for exhaust, so we'll explore that later on. But I think for right now, we'll start getting these bolts off and start pulling this stuff out of the way so we can get these holes drilled. Alright, so we got that exhaust all cut down. Now I just got to kind of figure out how I want to go about pulling it out of the truck, or if I'm just going to kind of push it out of the way and kind of go from there. I don't necessarily want to cut it all up, but then again, it's also pretty bulky to just be hauling around the backyard and everything. So I'm going to put some thought in that, and we're going to keep moving forward from here though. Alright, and now that I am pretty much instantly regretting not putting in any ear protection, we've got these cut. Went ahead and just cut it kind of behind the muffler. I'll take it out 2 sections, a rear section and our front section. Throw those off in the back in the shed or something, I don't know. Save them for something. And now that we got all that out of the way, I can throw that to the side, get my jack under the transmission, get the transmission up. Oh, come on, focus. Get the transmission up, get that cross member where it needs to be, mark that location, and drill through. Alright, so when you're cutting stuff like this, you want to make sure to use the dullest blade that you have, so it's way more complicated than it needs to be. Instead of taking 5-10 seconds, you want to draw it out to about 30 seconds, you know, really make it something to watch. So again, before you cut, find your dullest, most worn out blade, get it on there. Let's keep going with this. So I wish I would have been recording for this, but I walked over to the corner there. I do live on a corner lot, so a lot of people walk through my yard, but found $5 laying in the grass. That's a win. Alright, so now that we got the weight off of this, I am going to go ahead and kind of get this stuff cleaned up a little bit. Just take a screwdriver or something, wipe all that dirt and dust out of there. This other side over here is not so bad. I'm gonna get it lined up with my mount, figure out where the sides line up to, and then we'll, I guess, put some extra holes in this frame and get it one step closer to hauling around, doing truck stuff. Let's see what we got here. Go back a little bit, right about there. Straighten this out, sir. Yeah, gotta love eating that dirt and dust. Lots of protein in there. Good iron. You know, if you're low on iron, just go play under an old car. You'll get lots of that rust and debris in there. If you're in Oklahoma, we got a lot of that red dirt, so you get lots of iron from that as well, high in copper or something like that. Now, I'm no scientist, but that seems decently level to me. I need to find my hardware. Oh, well, look at that. I look over and it was right there waiting for me. Let's see. There we go. That is not even the right hardware. Let's see. Got one in there. I think I might have lost my other. I do still need to get some actual hardware for this stuff. Right now I'm just using some random stuff out of my junk piles just to kind of get it started. Now I don't know if I want to go all the way back or if I want to move it kind of all the way forward. I don't particularly want to hang out in the middle or anything, just for the sake of kind of squaring it up. I think I'm probably gonna go all the way back. Let me see. Maybe something like that ought to work. Which you can, let's see here, we're a ways off from lining up anywhere. We got a hole. Got a hole, should be right here. This one should be about right here. So we're a little ways off. We'll get that kind of strapped down. This side here should be about right there. And for back here should be about right there. So we aren't gonna have any kind of interference of anything. So it should be fairly easy to get these holes. Get those holes in, throw some bolts, bolt it down. From there, I think I'll probably leave it a little loose in the trans cross member, and I'll work on getting that engine mount lined up because I still haven't gotten that done. And then I think from there I'll start wiring stuff up, hooking up the starter, stuff like that, see what my ignition, stuff like that does, if I have any kind of problems there. Still need to get a drive shaft for it. Got an air filter and stuff like that ordered. So a few things that should be here soon. But primarily I just need to put a little bit more time and effort into this thing and button everything up and get it going, get it moving in and out of my driveway so it's not just stuck stationary. Alright, so to clean out all this dust, I'm going to once again pull out the trusty worn out blade here. This is definitely what you want to use to be cutting stuff. I'm just going to kind of come in here and scrape all this junk out. See how good we can get this cleaned up. Doesn't want to focus too well, but that's alright. This isn't anything too important. Oh, dust right in the eyes. I'm even wearing glasses. Good. So I think our main, I don't know, issue or so is you can see this is kind of, well, maybe you can't see. The sun's making it a little, there we go. It's not exactly level. I may try to kind of smack that, heat it up, beat it with a hammer or something, bring it in a little bit more. This side you can see setting a little more level. think something's just kind of caught that over the years. Alright, and now that I've made sure that everybody in the neighborhood is awake, I am very much out of breath. Got it a little more lined up. It's not perfect, but come on. Definitely cleared that gap up at least a little bit over there by the mounting surface, so really won't focus too well, but that's alright. You're just gonna have to believe me. It's better than it was. So now we're going to probably just start drilling, honestly. Let's get into that. So one thing to remember is before you start drilling, always make sure nothing's moved. Apparently I didn't think about that. This side is very crooked. That side a little bit not so much. But luckily that wasn't too much effort getting through there. When I picked up this last time with the jack, I didn't really consider, hey, I should probably straighten this back out. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, and I'm gonna, I guess, make some new holes on there. So here we go for round 2. But you know, the best way to learn is by making mistakes or something positive. I don't know. Let's do this again. Alright, so now that I got those holes started, I'm going to go get my plug-in drill, use a bigger drill bit, kind of wallow these out a little bit, make them where I can fit the size bolt that I need to fit, and then I think we'll pretty much be done. I will go ahead and say it is not completely squared up. There's a couple spots I can tell with my eyes that it's a little uneven, but that's why they have slotted holes, right? Give you a little leeway. That's what I'm gonna say. At least, you know, to myself. Who knows? I'll probably end up selling this truck. Originally, we were putting it together for my dad. He has since decided, since I've donated a engine, transmission, and all of my time and efforts into the truck, and pretty much just said, hey man, do what you want with it. So I think what we might end up doing is selling it in the end. I'd like to maybe paint it, clean it up. I don't know, maybe make a couple bucks off of it. Not really saying, oh, this is my, you know, a flip, but it's kind of what it's turning out to be. I think in the end, there's some equipment for the property that we're trying to get, so I think this may go into funding that rather than becoming part of the property equipment. Yeah, we'll kind of continue forward from here. These mosquitoes are getting bad. It's pretty muggy out here. It's been raining a lot. Alright, so one thing I will say is I don't have a lot of patience with drilling holes. Some things, man, I'm a little bit of a hack on. I'll go ahead and be full forward with that. I don't have a lot of patience. I tend to get bored just in the end a lot of the times. I just want to get something done. But we got these drills these holes drilled. They're not great. They're nowhere near perfect. One of them, I started drilling, found out it was completely unnecessary. It lined up with the hole that was already there. I had to kind of wallow a little bit of them out. Again, this isn't going to be, well, actually I'd say this is probably closer to a SEMA truck than a perfect truck really would be. So maybe this is a SEMA truck with the way I'm doing it, you know? But I am seeing there's a little bit of interference here. I don't know, I think that's one of our fuel return lines or something, a vent, I don't know. I know it's not our main feed. I'm not too worried about it. I'm just gonna kind of bend it off to the side. There's a little snake bend there, so We'll have to probably take a pry bar or something, push it off of there. Something kind of like that will probably work. There we go. We'll call that good. Just like that. Did get a good little burn on my arm. Kind of see it right there. Some hot metal laying. That's never fun. I hate laying under metal when you're drilling or welding or anything like that. But let's see. I think from here, I'll probably just try to sit some bolts through there just to kind of get them holding. I do need to make a hardware run. I know I've said that a few times. I'll eventually get around to that one of these next couple of days. Get this all bolted in. My motor mounts are pretty close to lining up there. I think with a little bit of wiggle, a little bit of persuasion, a little tapping, we'll get those through. I think that's probably what I'm going to go ahead and jump on now. I might find something to just set through these the transmission mount holes, again, just to kind of get those locked in place. And I think we'll go ahead and get started on that. Here we go. Alright, so I'm gonna quick snack real quick. Chocolate chip cookie, sweet tea. Just fighting this motor mount, trying to get that bolt in there. Kind of running out of time for today, so I'm doing most of it off camera instead of trying to set up the camera and everything, get a good shot and all that. I'm just, it's one of those times where it'd really help to have somebody here to help me. I am doing pretty much all this by myself, so it's one of those times where it'd help to have someone kind of pry here while we slide the bolt through. But I'm having to try to get it kind of set up where it'll stay so I can get to where I need to be to get the bolt through. That's just not working too well, so I'm trying to kind of get it done real quick. It's also getting really hot. The sun is right over me. It's really pretty humid today, so with this uncomfortable weather, this uncomfortable positions I'm having to be in, this annoying situation, I'm just going to go ahead and try to get it knocked out after this little treat, of course. So we'll get it done. It's going to take a minute. Probably going to take a couple minutes, we'll be honest. Here we go. So basically what I'm having to do here is try to pry up on this while simultaneously trying to tighten it from the back to push it through. I could bring out my engine hoist and hook all that up and probably grab from over here or something, lift it a little bit, but I don't know. Seems like, I don't know. I might end up trying that here in a minute, but for right now, I guess this is how I'm wasting my time. Work smarter, not harder, or that's not what I'm doing at all. I'm working a lot harder. Alright, so I got this side in. Basically, I just wedged it up under the mount, pried up on the rubber, got it to line up, sends it through. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so far I've managed to get the cross member drilled, kind of bolted in, not bolted in, at least secured in a little bit, lined up. We got one motor mount bolt in. This one's most of the way through. My wife just got home with some groceries I got to pull in. I need to help her with some laundry, basically do some husband, dad duties. Alright, so we managed to get the transmission cross member in, bolts in place. We got this motor mount is started. We got that bolt through. My wife just got home with some groceries. I got to help her bring those in, help with some laundry and the kids, do some husband and dad things. I'm going to try to get out here later, maybe get this other motor mount in, get it bolted up, try to get it at least a little bit closer to getting started. Maybe try to sand down the hood later. I don't know, try to do something on it, just get a little bit more done. And I'll check back later. Alright, so after spending way more time than I wanted to, and by far the most time I've ever spent getting motor mounts lined up, I've my bolts going through both sides there. Got those done. Got a transmission bolted up. We're pretty much ready to start kind of tying things together. Get some exhaust set up for it, get our carburetor put on it, get our timing set up, get a radiator in here, get me out of here, Just kind of the little last bits of a project that usually everyone abandons it at, me being everybody. But from here, I don't know, we got a couple more days worth of work. If I had more time, you know, I've got kids, work, all that good stuff. If I had more free time, this really wouldn't take all that long. Maybe a day or two project, but I've got a couple hours a day to mess with it, and that's usually a couple of interrupted hours. So things do take a little bit for me sometimes. Every once in a while I'm able to get in, knock them out, but typically things take a little bit. So if anybody ends up watching these videos, I hope you enjoy what you see. Hang around, we'll get them out as much as we can. I say we being me, I am the only one around. There's a lot more to do on this truck. We'll get it taken care of over the next couple of days, and I don't know, maybe next week we'll try to do a first run. We'll see. Alright, so I'm not feeling the best today, so I don't really want to get into too much, but I do want to get at least a little bit done. I think what I'm going to go ahead and do, again, just for the sake of getting something done today, I'm going to go ahead and hit this with the sander, get it ready for paint. May try to paint it here in a couple of days. We'll see how things go. Alright, so I'm doing a little bit of body work, a little bit sanding and prepping to paint on the C10. Thought I'd bring you along. I'm currently using just a wooden handled screwdriver for a dolly on the inside, but here we go. Gonna do at least a little bit of correcting. Got some pretty bad tears there. I'm gonna try to flatten that out a little bit, flatten right there and there, and go in with the welder, kind of tack that up. On those splits there, might go ahead and drill little holes there, try to stop that tear at the end of those splits, see what we can do about preventing any further damage on those. That glass gets right in the way of where I need to be in here. Alright, well that's at least a little bit better than it was. I'm gonna go in there, kind of get them pressed a little bit better together. Kind flatten that a little bit as I weld it in. Like I said, I am going to go ahead and take the drill, put little holes at the end of each tear, try to kind of get that metal to stop ripping the best that I can. And I'm not too sure I'll do that right now. Probably will, to be honest with you. I don't really know why I said that. Alright, so I'm just going to go in here and just kind of let it walk all over. I'm not super worried about getting these perfect. Just trying to kind of help keep the damage from getting any much worse. Alright, I'll come back to that part. Don't give up. Persistence. It was being easier pushing on that one because I'm pretty close to the glass. I don't want to break the window. Alright, and then when I weld all along those cracks, I'll go ahead and weld in those little tacks there, and that'll kind of hopefully help keep this one splitting anymore when I put those mirrors back on. Alright. We'll be back when I get my welder brought up. Alright. Gonna go ahead and get this done real quick. Normally I'd use my mask, but I'm just doing a bunch of tack welds here, so it's gonna look away. I was a little slow on the turn away on that one. That was bright. So I do want to go ahead and notate, I am not a welder. I just own one, and I claim that I know how to turn it on. And that's about the extent. That being said, though, I am decently proficient with it. I'm not, completely blind on what I'm doing here. I just don't really have that professional care to do it well. I just do it good enough for me. See shooting stars in my dreams tonight, I'll tell you that much. Not my best work, not my worst work, but somewhere in there. It's on a list something. I will go in there, grind those down, get that cleaned up. But for right now, that's better than a bunch of rips and tears, and it's something to mount the mirrors to. So I'm not too sure if the other side is that bad or not. Oh, the other side still has a mirror on it. I guess I should have thought about that. We will probably not pull that off. But I think from there, I'm gonna probably go ahead and grind down those welds and get back to sanding down this body a little bit. Probably won't record much of the sanding just because it's kind of repetitive. At this point, there's already quite a bit of content for the video, and there's still quite a bit more to do, and I am just going to group this into one video. So I'm just going to knock all this out, come back when it's primed, and I will record the process of painting it, just not my quote-unquote prep work, if you want to call it prep work. I'm being very lazy about this. A little, basically scuff and shoot. I'm not doing any filler, I'm not worried about it being level, nothing like that. I'm using leftover paint from Tractor Supply. So we're just getting an outcome, basically. We're not worried about how it is. We're just trying to have one color instead of 17. So I'm gonna get this sanding, scuffing, grinding done, and probably start priming some areas. It does have the holes there. I thought about throwing some body filler on there, but I'll be honest with you, I'm probably not going to. I'm probably just going to paint over it. I don't know. We'll see if I come home with body filler tomorrow or not. Alright, we are back. It's been a couple days. I've got some grinding, sanding, all the wrong way done on the C10. This is, like I said, super simple scuff and shoot. I think ultimately this thing may end up doing a Title 42, get it street legal, everything like that. But I think ultimately it is going to end up a farm truck. So I'm just tired of it being 17 different colors. I've got this cream color mix. Come out. It looks really yellow on camera. Once I blend that up, mix up the rest of that white right there. It's a really nice cream color. Gonna get that sprayed on there today. There's a little bit I kind of wanted to do for prep that I didn't end up doing. I did want to pull the bumper, stuff like that. Not gonna do that. Short on time. Just gonna try to get it knocked out real quick today. It's gonna make a couple of spots. Probably a little annoying to get, but that's what being lazy gets you, and I'm being a little bit lazy here. I don't want to have to fight that bumper off. I may take a quick second, take a look at it, see if it'll be a quick on and off, but I'm expecting those bolts to be pretty stuck. Like I said, I'm tired, it's hot, I don't want to fight it. I just kind of want to get this done. So I think that may just be the route we take, just kind of fighting around these bumper, getting it down in here. I'm not too worried about it. It's not like this thing is going up for sale or I'm going to be trying to make money. You know, I'm not going to feel bad that I screwed somebody over or tried to work somebody over or anything like that. Not used car selling it. I'm just making it a little easier on my own eyes, but when I'm going to go hop in it and do something in the field, who knows. But I think for right now, I'm going to start taping some stuff off, mixing this paint up, spray it. Let's get into it. Be a time lapse from here on for a while. So unfortunately I did break my little stand. It is the only one I've got, so from here on the footage might be at a kind of a weird angle. Gonna kind of do what I gotta do. Got most of it taped off. I'm gonna really quick tape this grill and the bumper off. I'm just gonna run a quick line, drop it down, tape it under a little bit. A little lazy about it. I was gonna paint that little center section, but I think I'm gonna do that a little different. From here, my trash is terrible, I know, cleaning up the yard. But I think, like I said, from here I'm gonna throw that down real quick, and then get into painting. Alright, so it is getting late, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on angles and stuff, so I do want to go ahead and apologize. Some of these angles are not going to be the best. Some shots are going to be missed. Some areas you're not going to see. We're just going to get this thing painted. We'll see the before, the during, the after. We're going to get into it. Alright, so it got pretty dark on me. My gun also started to jam, so I'm gonna clean it up, come back at it tomorrow. Got most of the truck. It's definitely not my best work, but then again, I am not a trained professional. I don't do this for a living. I probably never will. I do enjoy doing it for fun though. Big bug, quite a few bugs. But I need to get definitely a lot of runs over here and stuff, both doors, but whatever, it's all one color. I need to get another coat on the bed, so you can see there's a few areas I really didn't get to get. Got that first coat and that was really it. This is where my gun really started to jam up. It's kind of over here. So tomorrow I'll come back in the morning, clean guns, get all this finished up. I got the back down in the bottom, need to finish that up. This bedside, it's pretty well done. Probably do a couple extra coats down the bottom, little areas around. But for the most part, this is kind of how it's going to come out. Should be all right. I mean, you get up close to it, you can see there's quite a bit of body work that could be done. I'm not going to do that. I don't think anybody ever will. It's a decent truck, but it's got rot. It's got some problems. The hood's pretty rough, or the roof. But we'll come back tomorrow, finish it up, and I guess until then, good night. So I mixed up some paint yesterday, and I was like, oh shit, this is way too thin. I'm gonna have hella runs. Boy, this looks like a fucking Boston Marathon with all the runners on there. God damn. Easy on that thinner there, boys. Check your mixes. Alright, so it is the next day. Had to touch up a few spots this morning. Like I said before, my gun was clogged at the end of the night last night. Didn't get to finish a couple spots on the bed, the tailgate. So I got all that taken care of today. I guess right now we're going to do a quick little walk. This is probably one of the worst paint jobs I've done due to just all the runs and everything. But I was just kind of playing with, I don't know, learning a little more, doing the reducer and hardener and all that, just kind of playing with the different mixtures on it, kind of getting a little different outcome on some different spots. There's a couple times where I definitely went a little too heavy on the reducer, got a little too thin, got a lot of runs on the other side, the passenger side there. But at the end of the day, the truck is all one color, and that's the main goal. I started untaping it. There's a few spots, like I said, I had to do all this morning, so the paint's a little more wet than it was on the front. So I'm leaving the tail lights and everything kind of taped up. Did forget to untape the front driver's side turn signal lamp, but we'll get that done later. It doesn't really matter. Again, this is pretty much just going to be a farm truck, so it's going to get beat up. It's going to, a lot of scratches, a lot of dents, a lot of chips, a lot of beating, banging, whatever. So it doesn't really matter. I really could have just left it how it was, but I figured may as well get the experience while I'm able. Show you some more here. A lot of the runs all along this side. Real heavy right here. I may go in and kind of sand it down a little bit. May take a razor blade, kind of knock those off. Probably won't, but I might. A lot more runs right there. A few more down low. A bit of runs. I never got the body filler, so I didn't worry about doing that. Again, it's just going to end up being pretty beat up at the farm anyway. A lot more runs right there. Some more. Kind of want to put a number on the door. May or may not end up doing that. But, like I said, it's just more for the experience and learning. Definitely use this as a chance to learn more about different levels of hardener, different amounts. From here, pretty much just got to do the wiring on it. Got to get a drive shaft. I may try to go get a drive shaft this week. Probably do it next week, I'll be honest with that. Want to get that driver's side mirror put back on and just kind of button it up from here, maybe get it fired up. While painting, I did notice on the fuel cap door, let me get this open real quick. It's a little wet, so I am going to go ahead and use my knife and just flip her open. Real expert like. Chip foose. Alright, so that's a diesel fuel only. I don't know if this truck was originally a diesel or not. Not a big expert on what to look for to separate the two. To my knowledge, they're pretty similar. So I don't think there's anything to really separate it. With that being said, I will probably clean that tank out pretty well. No, I won't clean it out really at all. I'll just make sure it's empty. If it's empty, I'll end up throwing a bunch of fresh fuel in it. I do want to try to empty it out the best that I can, but we'll put a couple filters in line there and make sure we're not putting a bunch of junk through our carburetor. And the next step, like I said, is to just get this stuff wired in, get all the accessories on, get our exhaust run, get a drive shaft, get it driving. And I'll get started on that stuff probably a little later. Gonna let the paint set, got some stuff to take care of for the day, and I'll see you guys next time. Well, later. Gotta have a quick little lunch break there. Some burgers, fries. Alright, so it's been a couple days, but we are back on the C10. I did end up doing kind of a two-tone design on it. The black and the cream there. Kind of let it dry a little bit, let it set for a couple days in this heat. It's been really hot, really humid. I have not wanted to go outside. So I really haven't gotten anything done. I think right now, what I'm going to start with is getting the hood bolted onto the hinges. Kind of tired of having to fight that on and off. That's actually kind of why I went with the two-tone. I was putting the hood back on there, and I ended up kind of scratching the fender. I didn't have any more paint, wasn't going to mix any more up, wasn't buying more to mix up, so I just ended up getting some black bed liner, and we went with that there. But I think right now I'm going to get the hood bolted on, and then gotta do a little bit of the wiring, get that kind of set up. Probably end up just tying together underneath the hood. Might put the transmission crossmember mount in there, the new mount, get some of the hardware put in. I do need to go ahead and order exhaust manifold bolts, so I'll probably get that done. But might try to get the mirror on. I don't have too much of a plan right now other than getting the hood on. But for the meantime, I guess we'll get started on it and see what all we get done today. Alright, I don't have a whole lot of faith in the way I've got this rigged up here, but hopefully that holds it while I'm doing the bolts. We'll see. Don't necessarily have a good place to put my phone right now. Guess we'll try right there, maybe. Hopefully I don't knock you guys over. I think you don't entirely know the best way, or the way that I want to go about this. I think I'm gonna go ahead and time lapse it, switch goes off to the side, and see what I can come up with to do this by myself. So that actually went a lot better than I was expecting. Got the hood. Not gonna worry too much about adjustments. I got it good enough to where I want it. I have to touch that up a little bit, but not too worried about it. Overall, sets up a little high over here, but like I said, good enough for this truck. Good enough for what it's gonna be doing. So you can go over this passenger side a little bit more. But I'm not that worried about it. This truck's gonna be in the woods anyway. From here, we're gonna get that hood back up in the air, and we're gonna start playing underneath it, I guess. Let's get all this stuff done. I'll tell you one thing, it's not the heat, it's the humidity that'll get you. I haven't been out here too long. I don't know if you can tell, but I've got sweat running all down my face, all down my back. My shirt feels like I've been swimming. All I've done is tighten the motor mounts and bolting on the hood. I've not done much. I'm even in the shade and the breeze. Feels not too bad with that, but man, this humidity, it's up there. But I'm gonna keep moving forward. I thought I had a better plan than I guess I do. So I've gotten under here and I don't really know exactly where I'm going. So I've got my motor mounts tightened. I do need to do the transmission mount. Might go ahead and do that next. Just get that done out of the way. Yeah, let's go ahead and get that done. Alright, so I've mostly just been cleaning up my garage, but in the process of doing that, I figured I'm gonna go ahead and get this radiator out of the way. The radiator is out of a 69 Impala. I don't know that it's gonna fit. Go ahead and cut out a little couple pieces of this inner hood webbing, and we're gonna see if we can't make that work. I don't think we're really gonna be able to, but I'm gonna try anyway. Alright, got that, try to be about as professional as I could on it, which means I did not put very much effort at all. Let's see. Oh, we are still hitting. I'm sure you can't really see much of anything on the camera. Alright. Looks like we are also those inner supports there. Fuse right here. So we'll probably cut that out. Kind of deciding if I even really want to use this radiator. I might go ahead and just see about ordering a new one for the truck. I think that's probably what I'm going to go ahead and do. Considering I already hacked that out. I don't really want to keep cutting away at the inner webbing of this hood. It's a pretty decent square body hood. That was kind of hard to come by. So I think I'm just going to kind of look up, see what we're looking at for some Chinesium radiator or something. See what we can get online. Alright, so it is another hot day. Went ahead, got my starter all wired up. Ran a positive cable. Just currently got that just kind of channel locked on there. I've got my negative cable just grounded to the frame. I did grind the frame down, get that all cleaned up. Right now, what I'm going to do, crank it over, see basically if the key does anything. I don't know if the key cranked it over or not. I know it does at least unlock the steering column, but I don't know as far as wiring and everything goes. So you're going to, and look at that. And the starter's failing. So I've had issues with that starter before. At first I was thinking that it could have been the bent flex plate. It seems now that maybe that starter just is an Amazon special and sucks. But looks like we do have the dome light on. Let's see if we have anything else on. Hey, we got headlights. Both headlights there. Pretty dim, but we do have a tail light there and we have a tail light there. I'm gonna get a little cocky and I'm gonna find out if we have turn signals. Whole lot of nothing right there. And what do we got up front? Nothing on our side. Nothing up front. Down below, that's solid. Let's see if we got anything on the other side. Turning right now. We are solid on the passenger side. Nothing on our side marker. And absolutely nothing up front. But hey, we have headlights, we have tail. That's all I'm really worried about. Like I said, this thing's not going to be used for a whole lot. I'm curious, we're gonna see if we have brake lights. I'm just gonna set the camera up. Something like that'll work. All right. So something I didn't think about is I had the key off, so we have turn signal. What do we have up here? We have a turn signal up here too. That's awesome. Got it on this passenger side. And on our front. Alright, so that's about all the time I have for today. I'm going to get this kind of thrown back together a little bit, get it all closed up. Pretty excited to see that we do have lights, turn signals, ignition works. I'll get a new starter. Probably end up running to AutoZone, O'Reilly's, something like that the next couple days. We'll get a new starter for it, and we will go from there. It's pretty annoying that starter's already messed up. It's pretty much brand new. It does not have a lot of run time on it at all, but it keeps getting hung up. So I guess we'll get a new one. Get that starter thrown on. We'll get the exhaust put on, and we should have a running driving truck. I do need to get the spark plugs, plug wires, set the timing, do all that nonsense. Probably get that done here in the next couple days. Get that starter brought in. Probably get that starter put on before I do the timing. That way I can crank it over and not have to spin it by hand and try to find that compression stroke. So I guess from here it'll be getting a starter and getting the exhaust and the timing set. But we are on the tail end of this. I did go ahead and get a drive shaft ordered, so that should be here on Tuesday. Today is Saturday. No, be here Tuesday or Wednesday, one of those 2 days. Again, today is Sunday, so we got a couple days before that gets here. So by the time that gets here, I would like to have the truck hopefully running. There's no real reason why I can't have it done. It's just a matter of getting myself motivated, getting out here and doing it. So I'm gonna try to hopefully kick it in high gear the next couple of days. Once that drive shaft's here, I'd really like the truck to be ready to kind of take for a test drive, kind of see where it's at, how it's doing. Then again, I do still need to get like a radiator and stuff, but I've got a radiator I can at least throw in there for now to have a cooling system. I may still end up notching the hood a little bit more and just running that radiator. It's not like the truck's really destined for all that much other than some farm work anyway. So that's probably what I'm going to do, just to kind of knock that cost down. I've spent a lot more on this truck than I really would have liked, considering it's not like it's going to be bringing me money back. I don't really know what happened right there, but apparently I scratched it with something, or somebody did. But pretty much the future of this truck anyway, so it's not like it really matters much anyway. But we'll get back into this one of the next couple days. Alright, we are back again. Got that drive shaft in the mail today. Went and picked up, got the starter on there. Drive shaft in a box under the truck. The drive shaft should fit. Not too sure about the yokes or the U-joints. Hoping that they're the right setup. Hoping to get that thrown in there today. We'll get the new starter in, the exhaust. I really want to get this all buttoned up and maybe even driving today. Aside from me getting distracted and not getting it done, there's really nothing to keep me from getting it done. So hopefully we can focus good enough on it. It is really hot, so I'll probably be taking a few breaks. But we're gonna go ahead and probably start out by seeing if that drive shaft's gonna work. Hopefully that will. I do have an extra yoke, so if I need to switch the yoke or whatever, I can always do that. Hoping I don't have to end up getting different U-joints, just due to time and money. That's something I'm hoping to avoid. I think for right now, I'm probably going to end up running headers on here, just because I didn't end up getting the hardware, and I really just don't want to. I've spent enough on this truck, don't really want to spend any more. So I think for right now, we're just going to throw it together with what I've got and try to get it going today. But in the meantime, I guess let's get started on it. Let's go ahead and get this drive shaft open and unboxed. Alright, so seems to be pretty decent. Off the top, I'm not too sure if those are going to fit or not. It seems like they should. Thinking about it, I really don't even know if I have caps for the rear end. But I'm going to get under there with this, get it in, make sure everything at least lines up. Should be the right length. I measured under there. Went, based off that measurement for this. The drive shaft is for, I think I ordered it for like a 2002, 2003, 2001 Silverado 4-wheel drive. Some specific transfer case, another, I don't remember exactly the setup for it, but looked at all that, made sure, like I said, primarily went for the length. Just kind of hoping for the best for the rest, to be honest with you. But I'm gonna get this down there, get this shoved in at least the best I can for now, and figure out what I need to do with it. Yeah, I know that's not the best angle, but for right now, that's about the best I can do. I'm just hoping my phone doesn't decide to jump down. But let's get all this tape cut out of the way and see what we're working with on this yoke. Please don't make a mess. It's gonna make a mess. I should probably get a drain pan or something. I'm gonna go get a drain pan. I'll be right back. I don't want to lay in a tub of transmission fluid. I hate transmission fluid. It smells terrible. Me out of power. That's all she's got, Captain. Oh, this is gross. I don't know about you guys, I'm just not big on sticky stuff. I kind of almost regret doing it like this, but at the same time, it's better than transmission fluid everywhere. Weird gunk stuff. Alright. Alright, well, the one time it's not leaking out of the back is also the one time I'm prepared with the drain pan. Really wish I would have worn gloves. This is really gross, slimy stickiness. Alright. Let's see. Right off the bat, I can tell you no way. Okay, so I do have a front yoke. I don't know about the U-joints though. I may end up having to figure out some kind of combination U-joint get that sorted. But it does seem like it should at least be the right length. I'm just gonna kind of set it up top. Yeah, so the length will at least work, which was kind of my biggest concern. Like I said, I've got another front shaft section for the drive shaft, so I'll sort that out, get that taken care of, and we can move forward on that. But I think for right now, I still need to get this down there. Still need to get the cross member bolted in. You can see it's got like some random hardware poking through. So I do need to get all that stuff done. I need to get my starter swapped out, get all of my front drive accessories on. I need to check my rear differential fluid, make sure that's good. Really should change these hoses. I would not be surprised if I don't though. I'm just going to be honest on that one. But that's definitely a bummer on that. I was hoping we'd be able to just drop it in and go, but whenever I saw how big that shaft is on there, I figured it probably wasn't gonna work for us. So I'll figure out a combination joint or see what I can do on that. In the meantime, we'll move forward on what we can, at least. Alright, go ahead and get this starter pulled out. Throw in that hefty, giant replacement there. The starter that's in here is for a 90s model, so it's like a mini starter basically. I just went with a factory style starter for the replacement. It is hot and humid today, I'll tell you that. I'll deal with that later. Alright. So this is just a 350, the 454 with the really terrible Chevy cross there, cross Chevy bow tie. That's just a joke between my dad and I. But yeah, we'll get down below, pull this starter out, probably just throw it in the pile and say I'll eventually do something with it and never touch it again. Leave it there inoperable, but who knows. In the meantime, we're gonna get it pulled out, get it replaced, and move on from there. Alright, so here we are under the truck. Gonna get this starter pulled out. Get this behemoth of a factory starter put back in. A little fun fact, I actually screwed up my shoulder replacing the starter in a small block Chevy nearly 10 years ago. Still have problems with that shoulder to this day. So I am very much not looking forward to this, but we're gonna get it hauled up there and pretend like we're Arnold Schwarzenegger in '92. Here we go. Alright. I'm very much dreading this. Come on. Go. Now the professional side of me says I should clean up that bolt head, but I'm not feeling very professional right now, so I'm not going to. We're just gonna struggle to get the bolt head in and out of this socket. Come on. Maybe if I got a worn out socket, it'd work a little better. Now I'm attacking you guys with the tool. I'm sorry. I hope I didn't hurt you. Don't take it personally. Ow. Now I'm hurting myself. Oh, cheese and rice. Here we go. This is a nightmare. Anybody else struggle to align a starter laying on the ground? I feel like my brain shuts off and it takes me a minute to figure out which direction it's supposed to be. Yeah. This feels like I'm carrying around my sins. Oh, that's heavy. There we go. Hopefully that didn't fall on my arm and, you know, really hurt. Good. Come on. Alright. There we go. One starter installed, ready to go. Brand new, remanufactured piece of junk from O'Reilly's. Hopefully it works. We'll find out. Oh, my body hurts. Eat your Flintstone vitamins, kids. It'll help you when you're older. Hey, I forgot that I had already tightened these engine mounts. I was thinking I was going to have to do that. Alright, that's already done. That's not even where this goes. I'm over here trying to wire things up completely wrong. Alright, yeah, I need to get out from under this thing. That goes up top. Alright, well, we are going to move to the top, get all that wired up, hook up our battery, and get an idea how this thing's cranking. Need to remember to put some kind of otter key or something on that shift linkage there, which there was one somewhere over here on the ground. Look around, I can see. Is that it over there? Way off into the distance. Across the field I crawl. Oh, let's see. There it is. All right. Get that out of my head. right in the pile of dirt. Perfect. All right. Now that I made that way, way more difficult than it needed to be. Gonna go ahead and get a cotter pin put up in our shift linkage here. There we go. Alright, eat your vegetables. You'll be strong like me, kids. Be able to bend the cotter key with your finger. Alright, now that I've shown the extent of my strengths, let's get up top, get this wired in. Alright, so with it being so hot, I just went ahead, got in, got it knocked out, got wired up. I did kind of very lazily tape these together, just kind of get them out of the way for right now. Very important, wired in the horn. Got a battery clamp on there. I guess now we're gonna go in, turn it over by hand, see how that goes. I say turn it over by hand, turn it over by the key, but let's see. And nothing. All right. Well, let's see what we got going on. Let's tie it on there. Let's get on there. Let's go on there. I might need to switch this wire over to the other side. I think that might be what I've got wrong. Let's see. Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get that wire switched over and we'll be back. Alright, got those wires switched over. Let's get this positive clamp on there. I did check the battery. It's got like 12 point something volts on it, so battery is setting pretty good. See if we have anything now. Well, there we go. What do you know? Alright, well, our starter is at least kicking out. That's something. Obviously, water pump and everything's not going to be turning. There's no belts on it. But we've got rotation from the key. From here, I just gotta get our timing set, get our plugs in, get our exhaust all on, cooling system, carburetor. There's a handful of things to do, but I think I'll spend a little bit of this afternoon getting that done, and we'll see where we can get with it. Real quick, before I go into a little time lapse with you here, wanted to go ahead and show the way that I like to find top dead center. Typically, again, like I've said a couple of times, I'm usually by myself here. So I'll take a rag, sometimes I'll take, a napkin, fast food, whatever. Get it in there. It doesn't have to be great, you're just letting the compression kick it out. So I'm gonna go ahead and set you guys up. Hopefully you don't take a tumble here. Alright, and we're just gonna watch for that to shoot out. So as you saw, I couldn't see or hear in there. You saw it shot out. You really just want to get to a position where you can see what you're looking at, see what you're doing. And you just, typically you can kind of see and hear it shoot out. I prefer to use like a napkin, something light. That way I can actually see it launch across the engine bay. But I'm gonna try to get to a better position where I can kind of see here. All right, so just like that, then from there, I'll typically take like a flathead screwdriver and kind of see how close I am to the top. Let's see, let's find a flathead screwdriver. I should have one sitting out here, but I may have to go get one out of the toolbox. Really need to finish getting my garage cleaned up. It's been a mess for way too long. I think once I get this truck finished up, the first thing I'm going to be doing is really deep cleaning the garage. Let's see. Get you a little flathead screwdriver. Some water, stay hydrated. When you go to drink said water with screwdriver, make sure you point screwdriver down. Delicious. Always throw your trash away, don't litter. All right, so now that you got your screwdriver, should be at top dead center. You can see I'm a little ways off at this point. Normally what I'll do is I'll either, depending on how I feel, I'll either go back through, crank it over with the key again, try to get it a little closer, or I'll put a socket on the crank and I'll rotate it, you know, forward, backward, whichever direction I need to go, get that set to top dead center. So I'm gonna get that all set up and we'll be back, start putting the spark plugs in, get our fuel and everything run, and we'll see about firing this thing off. Alright, so if we look down in there, you can see my rough line pretty much right there on top dead center. If you take your handy dandy screwdriver, go in cylinder 1, so you can't really get up in there, you're hitting that piston. Let's see, thought I had this cap loose, apparently I did not. Knock that out. I'm struggling here. I'm gonna set you guys down for a moment. All right. So now we'll pop this out of our way. Bring that up. Alright, so I've got that pointing pretty much where I want it. At this point, I'm going to rotate it just a little bit with the engine, get it to drop down. Let's see. Come on. I guess I'm gonna struggle with this for a minute. I swear this never happens to me. Alright, so we got that lined up where I want it. Right now, I just got to get it lined up so that it'll drop flush to our intake there. You can kind of see, get the little gap. So I'm gonna kind of wiggle, jiggle, mess with this around a little bit, get that dropped in place, and then we'll run our spark plugs, plug wires, get our carburetor put on, and we'll see about firing it up. Alright, so basically what I was fighting is the base of the camshaft, or the base of the camshaft, the base of the distributor has to line up with your oil pump drive. Essentially, what you can do is once you get this set down and that gear is riding in place with your camshaft, you can rotate your engine and your distributor shaft will rotate with your cam, meaning where you set this, it's still in place with, you know, top dead center, cylinder 1 and all that is still locked in place. So basically what I did is rotated the engine backwards by hand, rotating the distributor along with it, and that allowed my base of my distributor to line up with my oil pump, and it drops down in place. It kind of sounds a little bit complicated explaining it like that, but it's not too hard once you kind of get an idea. Do it a couple times and you'll kind of figure out what's going on. Looking down in there with a good light, you can see there's a little shaft, a little hole in the center. You're just lining up gears and everything like that. Those shafts and everything you want in line. So basically, as our camshaft turns, rotates our distributor rotates and turns our oil pump. That's how the small block Chevy oiling system works. So now that we got all that set up, I'm going to rotate the engine backwards to top dead center, get that pointing back at cylinder 1, just because that is how I like to do it. Keep everything in line and in place, so I know what I've got going on, and I don't have to trust myself or my memory of where I think plug wires and everything should go. So we got that set. And you can see we're about 180 out. Probably because I went the opposite direction of where, or turned it the opposite way I turned it the first time to line it up. So coming back around right about there. Still not quite how I like it, but that's pretty much how I had it lined up before getting well, I don't know. I don't really like how this is lining up. I think I'm gonna go back and redo this again, just to kind of make sure, because I don't like how that's turning out. I'd rather double check, verify before I fire it up and figure out it's off, you know, a tooth or two. So I'm gonna mess with this, re-verify, double check. It's alright if you don't get it the first time. It's just important that you get it. Alright, so I got that sorted. Really all I did was just kind of rotate my crank there, verified, come on, zoom in a little bit. You can see my white mark. Verified that that was where I wanted it. Once I did that, I ended up just kind of popping my distributor up, moved it back 1 tooth, dropped it down. Now it's pointing pretty much where I want it to be. Once I get everything set on, I'll rotate that a little bit. Once I get everything set on, that'll make this point right here cylinder 1. That's kind of where I like it. It doesn't really matter as long as it matches when it's firing. I personally just like it to line up. This one here, occasionally I'll go right there on the second post, but I like going on the post closest to my plugs. Just makes it easier to remember when doing your firing order. A little more difficult to get mixed up and crossed over. So now that I've got my distributor all set, top dead center verified, we're gonna get all our plugs, all our wires run, carburetor on there. I know I just said that, you know, 30 seconds ago, but going over it more for myself than anything. But I guess from here it's just moving forward. Alright, we are back under here, getting this drive shaft bolted in. It's been a couple days. I did get a new slip yoke Definitely got me at least a little bit more engagement there. I don't think it would have worked with the original slip yoke that I had. This one here, still, I don't know. I wouldn't say it gets engagement as I would hope or really want, but we are about right here, I would say. So we definitely got a couple inches in there. Like I said, it's not as much as I would like. I really wish this would have been. It should have worked, but with that, I could have measured maybe a little off. I don't really think that's necessarily the case. I think it was just kind of the description of the drive shaft. I think they were including the length of the yoke, not just the length of the shaft. Like, I mean, I can understand why they would include the length with the yoke, considering it comes with it, but at the same time, to me, it just kind of seems like we're talking about a drive shaft. We're not talking about a drive shaft yoke. I want to know the length of the shaft that I'm getting, but again, it is what it is. It's kind of what you run into with stuff like this sometimes. I could probably send it back, do this, that, or the other. But I think for right now, I may just see how it goes. I don't like that. There's quite a bit of up and down movement. But as you can hear, it is engaging. So there's always that, but I don't know, there's just a lot of up and down movement that I think is probably gonna be a little noticeable when driving. But I think I'm gonna keep getting this bolted in. If anything, we'll take a test drive and we'll see how the test drive goes, and if it's just not gonna work, then I'll probably end up putting the original slip yoke back on it and just sending it back, getting a different one or something. But I don't know. I think we'll just keep bolting in those U-joints, and like I said, I guess if anything, I don't know. We have options, we can explore. But for now, we're gonna keep moving forward because I'm kind of tired of waiting and I'm ready to get this thing moving. So we're gonna keep moving forward from here, get what we can get that done, and figure out the rest when we get there. Alright, so today my plan is to get the truck running, driving. There's not a whole lot of stuff left. It's another hot day. It's June. It's going to be hot. We already know that. But I need to get plugs and wires put in. Ran to the distributor. Done a few things off camera. Ignore that bolt in the back there. I was just trying to get it bolted down. I'll go back and replace that. Get some proper fasteners on there. Need to get our exhaust fully bolted on. I need to go in and do some welding on it, fit it up, figure out how I want to run it. I think I'll leave that for now, and we'll just go open headers for the time being, just to get it going. We got a little baby praying mantis down there. That's pretty cool. He's hanging out with us right now. We do need to get some hose clamps on those hoses right there and right there. I do have another thermostat I might throw in there. I might not. I don't know. We'll figure that out later. Need to get my plug back over there. Well, my breather. Get the breather over there. Bolt our fan up. Got our belts run. Alternator put on. There's a few things to do today. And we're just going to kind of get started on it. I'm probably going to start with the fuel lines, just because they're right there. They're quick, they're easy. From there, we might get into doing our plugs and wires. Need to put a terminal in. Oh no, I already put a terminal in on our battery. Never mind, we're good on that. So we got a couple of things to do here, but I don't think it'll be too bad. We'll get it done, get it sorted, and we'll get this truck hopefully maybe doing a burnout later. So I do hate to be doing a bunch of off-camera work, whatever, but it is really hot. I'm already just dripping, soaking. I've hardly done much of anything. So I think for the most part, I'm just gonna get in there, knock a bunch of stuff out, come back, do periodic checkups. It's just too hot to be messing with camera angles and this and that. And I'm just gonna knock it out, get it done. When things cool down, I'll start doing a lot less off camera, a lot more, in camera. There's gonna be a lot of different projects on this channel, from cars. I've got property I'm setting up, so I'll be dealing with that and just little things here and there. So we'll see what all we get. All right, so we are back. It's been quite a few hours. It's about 3 o'clock now. First part of this video, first part of this part of the video was recorded probably around 10:30 this morning, but got quite a bit done. I've got, don't mind power steering pump, it's just bolted up off to the side, but I've got our alternator hooked up, fuel pumps hooked up. I don't really like those little twist on clamps, but that's kind of what I had for right now, and I don't want to go get other stuff. But we got all our plug wires and plugs. Timing is roughly set. We've got our belt on. For right now, I'm just running our alternator. I'll set up a power steering bracket and everything later. We got our fuel pump is tightened up and everything. It's not really ready to drive just yet. I really don't want to get it up to temperature as it's setting right now. I just want to get in, get it fired up, maybe see about putting the transmission in reverse, see if we have backwards and forwards gears. Just kind of, yeah, it's been a long day. But we've got transmission cooler lines are also done. Kind of forgot what I was going at there. But I pretty much just want to get it fired up, see if our alternator's charging, make sure that we don't have any leaks anywhere, or at least any leaks that we can't quickly take care of. Just kind of check a few things out and see how the truck does with the running engine in it. Like I said, I do have some experience running this engine. I was running it in my 85 Monte Carlo SS for a little while. I don't have really any miles on it. More so just doing some burnouts and running through the neighborhood. So I can't really say how it does highway speeds or anything like that, but I can say it will roast the tires, and if it'll do that, it'll probably handle driving around a field pretty well. So I think for now, I'm gonna keep yawning. I'm gonna take a break. It is really hot. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna probably run to 7-Eleven with my daughter, get a snack, get something to drink, get some gas for the truck. We'll throw some fuel in the tank. The tank is mostly empty, but I did pressurize it with my air hose, and some pretty disgusting varnish did come out of the hoses. But with that being said, the hose does not seem to be blocked up or restricted. It seemed to be flowing all right. So I think, like I said, we're gonna go get a drink, get some snacks and some fuel, and we'll see about firing this truck up maybe in an hour or so. All right, so I thought I had some transmission fluid on my shelf, but apparently I've used it all and I don't have any in there. So we are going to very carefully and expertly fill this carburetor, and once we're done smelling gas all over the intake, we'll see about firing it up. This is probably plenty, so we'll just pour a little more down in there. All right, pour a little in there, a little back there, because why not? We'll get it everywhere, so we can then proceed to catch the truck on fire. All right, here we go. First attempt. Battery may be kind of low. Also, timing, of course, could be off a little bit. Just that a little bit. Let me go ahead and check our battery voltage real quick. See what we're at. Yeah, we're a little low. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the jump box. Grab the jump pack real quick, get that on there, and we'll see if that helps any. Jump box here. I don't currently have any kind of stand or anything hooked up to it, so got to find somewhere to lean you guys. It ain't the heat, I'll tell you, it's the humidity that'll get you. And that is the truth today. Hooked up, and let's give it another try. This time I'm gonna go ahead and try it from in the cab, that way I can play the throttle a little bit. All right, nope, we are running. Alright, well, I'm going to mess with this a little bit. I currently don't have anything holding down the throttle cable or anything like that, so I've got a couple different batteries. I'll probably swap the battery out in here and see about getting a throttle cable hooked up, but I also need to go get some transmission fluid. But I mean, we're firing up. It's running. I don't know. I may check and see if it's pulling fuel. I think when I go get some transmission fluid, I might see about grabbing a little clear fuel filter. We'll throw that in line. Probably drop it right somewhere in there so I can see. We'll see how it's doing. If it's pulling fuel, what the fuel looks like. I'm sure it's going to be disgusting. I need to probably run tanks through this to get it real cleaned up. But I mean, it cranks from the key. It fires up from the key. We're nearly there. We're getting somewhere with it. That's the biggest point. As long as we're making forward progress, I mean, we can't complain. That's better than not getting anything done at all. So I think from here, the next part is just kind of getting it dialed in, get our throttle linked, bolted down. I guess we'll find. I'm sure I've got some kind of bracket somewhere. If not, I'll have to order one, and then we'll just have to wait for it to get here. But I think for the most part, like I've said, I really just need to get these hose or these spark plug wires pulled off of the headers. I don't want those touching. Make sure my wires, like right here, aren't just laying on it. So I do need to go through, do some cleanup, stuff like that. I might end up recording. It just, like I said, it is ridiculously hot and humid. I mean, you can see all the sweat on my forehead. It's a hot one today, I'll tell you. I think it's actually only mid 80s, high 80s, but there's a lot high humidity. So the humidity is, like I said, the humidity will get you every time. So we'll I think I'm gonna probably go ahead and take a break for today. I might dig through the garage, see about finding my throttle bracket, but for the most part, I think this is a pretty good point for today. I'm happy with the progress that I've made. I think at this point I might start editing the video. I really haven't done much editing on it. Kind of sorted through, deleted some unnecessary videos, shortened some clips and stuff like that, but I need to probably start putting it together and figuring some stuff out on the editing on it. I really don't have a whole lot of practice editing or anything like that. I've got my first video, which is painting the two-tone on my Monte Carlo. That's the extent of my editing skills, is getting that done. But I do still also need to get it running. This alternator's putting out, but we're almost there. We are almost there. Like I said, it's just to be making progress. Doesn't really matter if it's a lot, just as long as you're getting something done. But I'm gonna go in, cool off, spend some time with my family, and I might come back to this a little bit later. I might come back to it tomorrow. Just kind of depends. But we're gonna get it finished up here in the next couple days. I really don't want to run it a whole lot without transmission fluid being where it needs to be. I don't want to burn anything up in there. So I think for right now, I'm probably just gonna go cool off, relax, come back later. Filling up the transmission, and I got down below to make sure everything was okay, and thankfully I did when I did, because it is in fact not okay. We're spilling. I don't really know from where. I'm gonna get this cleaned up a little bit, and then I'll look up and figure out. I don't know where to assume it's coming from, actually. I was gonna say I'm gonna assume it's coming from our dipstick tube, but that's bolted in and everything, but I don't know, maybe it is. I'm gonna check into that and let you guys know what I find. But I'm gonna first start by cleaning up this mess. Alright, so it is coming out of the front of our pan there. I'm going to probably check the bolts there, hope that they're loose. I probably overfilled it a little bit, I know that. But I wanted to run it and kind of get fluid cycling through everything, and so I figured it'd probably be better to overfill it a little bit, but maybe I overfilled it a little too much. I don't know. Like I said, I'm gonna check those threads and make sure they're tight and go from there, I guess. So, I don't know if I've previously stated this or not, but don't let anything I'm doing on this truck be an actual representation of my skill or moral set. What I do on my own vehicles, especially if it's something like this that I don't really plan on doing a lot with other than driving through a field, I would not do this on a customer car. If somebody were paying me, I'm gonna put a lot more effort in doing things the right way. This is just like the typical YouTube thing of throwing a car together. You know, don't get it right, just get it running. This is just kind of a putting lipstick on a pig. You know, again, I would not do 9 out of 10 things that I'm doing on a customer car that I'm doing to my own. Looks like that seal is leaking pretty well, that gasket. So we are going to Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, rebuild that gasket on there, and we're gonna spray it clean, get it stop dripping, and I'm gonna glob some RTV over that. We're gonna hope that it seals up, because I don't want to drop the pan and put a gasket on it. Like I said, I'm just tired of putting money into this thing. It was never supposed to be much of a budget truck. I've spent, I don't know, honestly not a whole lot of money, but just more than I really planned, and I'd rather not keep spending money. So I'm gonna, from here on forward, kind of just start boogering stuff together for the sake of budget. Just between the drive shaft and the cross member alone, that was the entire budget I wanted to spend on the whole truck, and that was just 2 parts of it. I definitely spent more than that. So I'm gonna work on cleaning that up, glob some RTV on there, and hope to move forward with this. I'm really wanting to get it moving forward, backwards, see what gears I have, maybe spin a tire, produce some smoke, burn some rubber, waste some tread. I don't know. We'll see what we get done. If that isn't a repair to write a movie about. That's the kind of repair they write love ballads about. But really, we're gonna see if that holds up. As you can tell, there's already a little bit coming out. Hopefully it seals up. Got a pretty decent glob on there. May end up doing a little more. We'll see. Like I said, I just don't want to have to. I know a seal set's pretty cheap, or a gasket set is pretty cheap for it. But like I said, I'm just tired of spending money on it. Tired of putting in the work. I've kind of maxed out on this truck for my interest of efforts. It's been a cool truck. It's been a cool project. I've done a fair amount of stuff over the last couple weeks. There's definitely a lot more to be done, but in the meantime, like I said, it's just a quick and easy project. I don't really know what all will be going on the channel. The more we do this YouTube ordeal, various things, you know, like I said, I've got property that we've got to be doing some work on, so it'll be a mix of, you know, doing work out of the property, doing work on cars. I don't know. So if there's something on here that you like, make sure you let me know so I can keep doing it. If there's stuff you see on here that you don't like, let me know so I can stop doing it. If anybody even watches this, I may only have 4 views on this video for the entirety of my life. And if that's the case, thanks to you 4 people for watching it. It's been fun putting it together. It's been fun putting this truck together. And like I said, I hope to do more. But I'm going to let that RTV set. It is a pretty quick drying RTV. So we'll let that set and dry up. I'm going to go ahead and check the fluid with it off. We'll consider it's likely, you know, going to be reading a little bit more full than it likely is going to be when running, and now all the fluid is pumping. But we'll at least get an idea of where we're at on the fluid level, if we need to plan on adding more, or, you know, if we've overfilled it a little bit, we can always drain a little bit out. But we are going to, like I said, let this set, check some levels, and get back to it in a little bit. Alright, well, so I'm gonna go ahead and try this whole run thing again. Let's see how we get it here. Timing or a dead battery? Oh yeah, that's right, our battery was dead. Forgot about that. Let me grab a jump box. Alright, let's try this again with our jump box hooked up. The seat's not bolted in or anything, so there's that. Well, it's firing up. It's kind of trying to run. It's one thing I hate about running open headers, is it's hard to kind of hear what's going on. See what we can get going on it now. Oh, I hate steering wheel locks. this is going to be annoying. And it really didn't feel like it was going in reverse, I'll be honest. It's got me a little worried. Now I do have another transmission I can put in there if I need to. I just would rather not, if I can help it, you know. I'll go ahead and drop a different battery in here real quick. We'll put that jump box up and not stand there fighting that. So let me get that swapped out real quick and we'll go for round 2, see about moving it forward. And I guess we're gonna go ahead and do a gasket. So now I'm thinking about it, I might have one on the shelf, but probably not. Don't think I do. I don't know. We'll check and see. That's a bummer. Alright, so upon further inspection, this leak is coming from up top somewhere. Oh yeah, that makes sense. So I totally knew about that. I just, you know, was making sure you guys knew. Plug that, cover it, put what belongs there. Just don't leave it wide open when filling a transmission up. Makes sense. Alright, so I'm gonna go and get that taken care of. And we'll try this again. Now, unfortunately, I am pretty much out of time for today. My wife's got to clock into work. So I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do about this. And we'll go from there. I'm glad I at least checked it and figured it out instead of just throwing a gasket on there, because saved myself 10 bucks. So I will get that sorted and we will try this again tomorrow. Unfortunately, like I said, I am out of time for today, so I don't think I'm really going to get anything else done other than figuring out that leak and getting this truck halfway down my driveway. Alright, so we will get back at this tomorrow. Alright, we are back the next evening. I've got a quick minute. I topped off the transmission fluid after plugging that hole there. Filled it up. No more spillage. So we are going to, we're going to see if we have forward gears. Sorry, I know I'm really bad about moving, flipping the camera, but I don't know, I'm getting used to it. Need to adjust that timing a little bit. Come on. Oh. It's got pressure in gear now. Come on. Come on. It's hot. Forward gears. Doesn't seem to want to do a burnout yet. Alright, we are moving. Hopefully not through. We are moving backwards. need to adjust that timing, get that fuel mixture cleared out a little bit. But hey, we have a driving truck. I'm excited. I'm happy. I feel good. Yeah, next step is just cleaning it up and tuning it up. But we got a driver, man. I'm so excited about that. I was a little bit worried about that transmission, but it's doing good. It feels all right. I need to get that timing light out, get that set on a timing, get all that done. But man, I'm excited. I feel good about that. Not gonna get too much done today. My wife's working. She's on her lunch break right now, so I really need to get inside before she comes out here, starts questioning my actions. But heck yeah, guys, we've got forward, we've got backwards, revving it up. You know, you can definitely tell it's a little restricted on the tuning side, so it wants to get going, but it just doesn't quite break that tire loose. I do know that this motor runs pretty strong. I know it can do a pretty gnarly burnout. I've had it in my Monte Carlo. I was ripping in that thing, so I know the engine can do it. I just got to get it tuned up to where it wants to. And yeah, I think this truck and everything is going to be exactly what we need. So we'll finish this up. I'll probably like to get a good burnout in the video, so I think we'll go ahead and get this tuned up and we'll get it ripping to where we can do a little smoke show. The tires in the back, I do plan on replacing pretty much all of these tires, so I want to let her eat. I guess the next time we come around will probably be, oh man, I can smell that fuel. It smells terrible. It'll probably be me cleaning this up a little bit, setting the timing. I definitely would like to record that, so I'm sure the next clip will be me setting timing and maybe messing with that carburetor a little bit. Last time I had it on the car, on the Monte Carlo, it was doing all right, so I don't think I really need to mess with the air fuel mixture or anything like that. I think for the most part, it's just getting that timing where it needs to be, so we can get all these horses dancing out of our stables. It really doesn't seem like I'm getting full movement on the pedal, so I'll need to do something better with that that throttle linkage. But I don't know, like I keep saying, I am just excited that it's doing something. It moves. And it leaks. So great. All right, that's coming from the trans cooler. I can tell that right away. Oh, all right, yeah, great. So we got to get that mess cleaned up. I don't like the trans cooler setup ordeal I got going on right now. I'm probably just gonna get a cheap trans cooler from Amazon or something, like an auxiliary cooler, and do that. But I don't know, man. We got it moving. That's the biggest thing. I've got a couple weeks on this worth of work. That's not solid. That's not consistent. That's just a couple days here and there. Overall, I would say we've got maybe a solid 4 days worth of work, and all of this, getting the engine, transmission in, running, driving, painting it. I feel really good about this. This is a grid project. It's a lot of fun, and it really didn't take too long. I think if I had more free time, I really could have knocked it out. But we'll get on to cleaning the rest of this stuff. Alright, so it's been a couple days, but we are back. Right now I'm just trying to kind of get it idling a little bit, kind of see how it does, see if I can get it to stay idling without giving it any gas. Yeah, it keeps wanting to die without playing with the throttle there, but I can also check our trans fluid while it's running. So I'm gonna kind of mess with this a little bit, see if I can get it to idle, and we'll be back here in a minute. All right, so I got it idling. My wife's moving the 91 Honda wagon, and we'll back this thing up and kind of see how it does. Hopefully it does all right. We got some traffic coming through, gotta wait on them to move. What a really loud exhaust with these open headers. All right, going backwards. Oh, the joys of no power steering. Driving okay, seems to be shifting okay. We're rolling through the neighborhood. I'm pretty happy about this. Man, I wish I had a better setup to hold my phone. I don't really have anything to hold it. The only stand I had broke recently. Well, I broke it. So I'm gonna need to get a new one. I'm gonna go ahead and probably set the phone down while I cruise around. Hopefully it doesn't fall over. Been a little bit since I've gone down here, but let me go ahead and show you guys this truck that I would love to get off this guy. Got this step side long bed, 68 I believe. I got my dad a 68 C10 long bed step side just like that one. He got rid of it recently, but it was a pretty cool truck. But we're gonna keep doing this little drive and we'll see how it goes. We're just about back to the house, but always watch out for kids in the neighborhood. It's not worth it. Knocked you guys over turning around the corner there. We have made it back home to my terribly messy garage. Sometimes you just gotta let them eat. All right, so I definitely still need to do some adjustments on the timing. I can tell just by the lack of power that the timing is off. Like I said, I've had this engine in my 85 Monte Carlo SS. The engine's originally, it's a 350. I'm sure I've said it before, but it's a 350 out of an 84 C10 4-bolt main. To my knowledge, it's pretty well stock. Got a factory intake, standard 80s smog era heads. I don't think anybody's ever gone in and done a cam or anything like that. It feels pretty well stock, and by feels pretty well stock, I can't say I've got a lot of experience with power and modifications and hot shot motors and whatever. You know, most of my experience has been with stock engines, at most a cam upgrade, you know. But like I said, it feels like a pretty stock 350, but it feels like a strong 350. You know, it doesn't feel weak and worn out, so it definitely feels like an engine that could be worth doing something with. I don't know. I might end up trading the truck off. For if I do, it'd be the next project on the channel. I don't know. It'd be like a mid-70s Monte Carlo. The guy that I got the truck from, he really wants to get it back from me. So I told him, he's got a few different cars. I was like, hey man, send me some pictures. Let me know what you got. You know, we can come together on something. So I may end up trading the truck off. I may end up keeping it, using it out at the property. I think for the most part, this will probably be it for the video. I'm probably just going to upload it here. I think what I might end up doing is, once I get the timing and everything set, you know, put like a short or something of doing smoky burnouts, letting her eat. But for right now, I mean, I'm really just ready to put this video up and see how it does. You know, see if it gets any views, see if anybody sees it, see if people that do see it like it. If nobody sees it, well, then I'll know that it's always there, the video performance of putting together this truck. So I think from here, probably gonna close it out. Again, thanks to anybody that's watched this. If anybody watches this, hopefully we get 1 million views. You never know. 2024 is pretty crazy. But at the end of the day, we've got, I would say, less than a solid week of work to get all this done. It's just taken probably about a month to get the time to do it. I mean, I got kids and work and all other stuff like that, so there's definitely some things that kind of take place of getting out here and hanging out and really spending hours at a time. On top of that, it's been hot. It's been 100 plus most days. So between the weather, the kids, I've been busy. But I don't know. It was nice to get it done, at least to this point. There's a few things. I might come back and get the power steering hooked up. I'm gonna have to figure out some bracketry and stuff like that for that. I don't really want to run the headers. I'll probably end up putting the ram horn manifolds on here just to quiet it down. But I don't know. If I do all that, I may end up putting it in a video. May end up just being, you know, a shorter, you know, maybe a little video to kind of just show what else we're doing on the truck. But I think for this main video right here, for the build, put together project of this truck, I think I've got it about where I'm going to do it. Like I said, may have some little things here or there I go through and do, but for the most part, this project is pretty well projected. It's been a fun one. I really enjoyed it. It was I won't say a whole lot of firsts, but definitely, you know, with the paint, I don't have a whole lot of experience, so doing the two-tone thing, that was pretty cool. I do still technically need to finish the bed. Got some junk back there, but that's not really priorities. You know, right now we're done with the priorities, and that's the main point of this video. So from here on, we're out. I'll see y'all next time.